Join me in the woods as I chase the final colours of autumn and share how I've grown as a photographer. Books and YouTube are a great way to learn this magnificent hobby. However, nothing beats going out with the camera and learning on location. So I do, however, want to stress my annoyance once again living down here in the southeast of England. Parts of the country at the moment are covered in a lovely white blanket of snow. Seeing loads of shots all over social media, and all we're getting at the moment down here in Kent is a little bit of frost, which of course just adds a little bit of extra colour to shots, to woodland around here. But hopefully at some point this year, or this winter I should say, I'll be able to get out and grab some shots in some snowy conditions. It's only ever happened historically once down here in the past. Got out with the camera on that occasion, got some lovely shots in those type of conditions. So hopefully this winter I'll be able to get out, maybe take you with me and get something very, very similar. But for now, instead of snow, it's just about taking advantage of those last autumnal colours before they disappear. Today though is a great example of getting out, trying to improve my photography skills and stepping outside of my comfort zone. Because sometimes it's all too easy, all too straightforward to get out where you feel strongest with the camera. The coast, for example, not actually been out there too often over the course of the last 6 months. Cornwall aside, that's kind of a holiday anyway. Sometimes when I go to the coast, especially these days, of course, all coastal locations are different. There's always something different to shoot. I find myself doing long exposures when I'm there. It gets a little bit too easy. It gets a little bit too repetitive. Yeah, repetitive is a great word to describe that. You don't really find yourself improving. I've not found myself improving as a photographer in that sense. Take the gear that I've got in my camera bag with me at the moment. I've never previously liked shooting with my 100 to 400mm lens. Look, it's great to have it in my bag if I see something that's beyond the reach of my 24 to 105mm. But in all honesty, when I've previously gone out with that 100 to 400mm, it's a lens I've genuinely struggled with. So the point I wanted to make today was when I started out in landscape photography, when I got hooked down in Cornwall shooting some amazing sunsets, I thought at the time, look, I want to get into this hobby even more. How do I do it? My first thought was YouTube. Let's jump onto YouTube, see how to use the camera properly, get into using the camera in manual mode, learn how to take long exposures, learn as well how to deal with woodland photography, because even now when I want to learn something new with photography, if I want to try and hone my skills, something I'm not very good at, want a little bit of a tip, a little bit of advice, I'll jump on YouTube just to see how other photographers do it because there's a wealth of knowledge out there, and it'd be foolish really not to take advantage of that, wouldn't it, in all retrospect? However, at the same time, there's got to be a degree of learning, and there's got to be a degree of getting out on location, taking shots, making mistakes. And that's the point I want to make today, because I see all the time on social media sites such as Reddit, people go, how do I become a better photographer? What YouTubers should I go off and watch? Me, come and watch me. But on a serious note, one thing I'll always say is there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can learn via YouTube. For me, when I learn something new, especially something like photography, I've got to get out on location. Got to get out, make mistakes. YouTube's great, book learning's great. Maybe a learning via a course is great, especially as you can get a mentor. They can tell you where you're going right, where you're going wrong. But at the same time, photography, it's such a subjective topic. The only person, in my opinion, who has to be happy with the shots that you're taking is you yourself. It's the only opinion that ever matters. If you like your shots, it's great. If no one else likes them, tough. It's not the point. You've got to enjoy photography for you, first and foremost. And that's the thing for me. It was great learning, and that was the thing for me. It was great learning on YouTube how to do all these wonderful things with the camera, but it's only when I started getting out on location. Same with woodland photography. I'm not very good at it. It's my weakest aspect of kind of landscape photography. But the more I get out and do it, the better I become. Same with using the 100 to 400mm lens. Patience, practice. They're the two things I really would stress when it comes to this hobby. So another way that I found myself improving with my photography is going back to familiar compositions, going back to locations where I know I've been able to grab great shots and seeing if I can improve on those, or see if I can find something different even. This walk through the woods today has brought me out to Cobham Mausoleum, a location I came back here in February time. There's another tree just over on the left-hand side where I got a great shot in winter. However, when I came around this particular location where I am now on that day, on that winter's day, all the trees, they were just skeletal. There's no atmosphere to them. There's nothing about them that made them interesting. The scene was just messy. There's nothing interesting about it. However, with the last signs of autumn still just about here, we've got this tree just here on the left. Got the pathway just leading us up to the mausoleum, and then we've still got some brown ferns nicely dotted around in the foreground. The sky is a bit bleak. We've got a little bit of cloud over the distant trees actually. Wondering if I might get a little bit of light if I stick it out, if I hang around for long enough. I'm in no rush to go anywhere today. The shot that I'm going for, it's a nice typical rule of thirds, simple shot that I like to go for really. I've got my tree over on the left. I'm shooting at my favourite 24mm focal length. I like to get everything in shot, and then if I want to afterwards, I can crop, do a little bit of cropping in post and get rid of things that I've missed previously. But I have to do that less and less now. Because what I do is a lot of the time is when I go out and I'm taking 100, 200 shots each time, I'll make sure I review and analyse them back home in Lightroom. Shots like this one, I'll see, okay, what did I miss when I was out on location? What glaring object should I have made sure that wasn't in shot, so I would make sure I don't have to crop it out, so I can crop out less and less in the future. All these little things just help, well, they've helped me hone, they've helped me improve my photographer's eye over the course of time. I've been shooting ISO 1000 a lot today, being in the woods, get dark surroundings. So because I'm on the tripod now, I want to be down at ISO 100, adjusting so that the histogram, if I can get my words out, is nicely in the middle. Gives me around 1/50th of a second in terms of a shutter speed, and that's, of course, with an aperture of f8. Looking at the shot though, I'm one stop overexposed. So I'm just thinking, do I want to go 2 stops just so I can get detail in, just so I can get some detail in the shadows. That'll take me to 1/20th of a second. Take a second shot at 1/50th of a second, and then I'm wondering, have I got any detail? I think it's just 2 shots that I need to take here, and then it'll be a case of exposure bracketing them in post, hopefully getting a result like this one. And even if the light comes out, I might even be able to get something better, which I'll share instead. Now don't forget, all photographers take bad shots. We just choose to hide them and share only our best work. I'm going to end this video now, but stick around until the very end because I'll put some raw images up on screen so you can see exactly what I mean, especially when I've reviewed them back home in Lightroom and I wondered why on earth I took them in the first place. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you on the next one. It's goodbye.